Absolutely. For us, yes, it's been huge. But I mean, if you look at just the basic statistics across the board, contactless payments are up 30%. And out of those people that they surveyed that have started using contactless payments, 70% of them plan to continue. So even when this is all said and done, we've stepped into a new era. And kind of being at the front and center of that with CannaCard.
All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Cannabis Corona Report, where we speak to cannabis companies that are succeeding or helping other companies succeed during the global pandemic. And today, we are joined by Gavin from CannaTrac. Tom, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate you having me.
Well, I'm excited to talk to you today because you're doing something that we really haven't discussed with our audience, and we're going to get to that in a minute. Let's give everybody a quick overview here, but CannaTrac is a cashless payment solution. And through your mobile app, you provide customers with a safe option other than cash. Let's start with the big picture first. As cannabis becomes legal in more and more states, people lose sight of the fact that it's still federally illegal. And because of that, banking is still an issue. You know, and a lot of people are like, why? Why is that such an issue? Well, banks have to comply with federal agencies like the Federal Reserve or FDIC. And they also have to adhere to their charters, and many of those charters say that they have to comply with federal law. So they don't really have a choice in this matter. They have to refuse doing business with cannabis companies. Otherwise, they could risk getting shut down. Just to give our listeners an idea, describe a typical transaction at a dispensary that does not use CannaTrac.
Okay, well, very simply, the consumer comes in to the dispensary, shows their ID, and they go in. They either get cash from an ATM prior or already have it with them, pick out what they want. They go to the register. They have to pay cash for their product, and then they're done. They leave.
Now describe that same transaction using CannaTrac.
So with CannaTrac, obviously being a cashless payments solution, we take that cash out of the transaction process. So the consumer would come in, they would show their ID, they would already have their CannaCard on their phone or a physical CannaCard that they could swipe, like a credit card or debit card or gift card. Once they go up, they pick out whatever they want. They go to the register, they either swipe their card or they show their phone, and their phone is scanned. And the balance comes immediately off of their CannaCard balance. It's pretty seamless, to say the least.
So let me see if I get this. The customer loads the money from their bank onto the app, and then the dispensary just scans their phone at checkout?
Yep, that's it.
It's just like Starbucks. It's just like Starbucks. Same thing.
Exactly.
Oh, my God. I mean, aside from having an audit trail, the thing I really like about this is the safety aspect. People don't have to worry about getting mugged because they're carrying a bunch of cash.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That was one of our big concerns. When the company was founded, the gentleman who founded the company, Terry Patton, who's actually still our chairman, one of the things that he saw was the lack of banking. And in turn, that lack of ability to bank that cash forced people to carry money on them and put them in situations obviously harmful. You're in a perfect crime spot. You're walking into a place that is selling marijuana, and you're walking in with a pocket full of cash in order to purchase what you want. Not the way you want to go about conducting your daily routine.
No way.
It's just not very safe.
You know, in addition to that, from a dispensary standpoint, I like it a lot better if my customer's coming in with a credit card because chances are they're going to spend a little bit more.
That's actually a huge upside. One of the things that we do slightly different from our, what I like to call relative competition, is we function as a reloadable gift card, which means you can carry a balance with us.
Okay.
So that dispensary using us as opposed to a basic mobile wallet where you have to load it for every transaction, we're carrying a balance. I can't say that you necessarily do it, but I can tell you what I do. I get a gift card. I go in, I spend $20 on a $30 gift card. I'm still going to come back and spend that last 10, even if it costs me an extra $10 out of pocket.
Absolutely.
So I'm kind of guaranteeing that dispensary a little bit extra business. So historically, you look at credit and debit, you have an increased spend of approximately 20% as opposed to someone coming in and spending cash.
Yeah, I believe
so that's a huge, huge upside. Between that and the money that they're saving simply on being a cash business, the armored car servicing, the additional fees for counting cash, the additional fees for paying taxes in cash, all of these things that seem like, why would they do that? Because the money's right there. They require additional safety, additional people to count money, protect money, all of that stuff. There's so many costs to carrying cash, and we take that out of the equation. So it's a pretty big deal.
That is a huge deal. I know a lot of people are like, oh, man, it'd be great to have all that cash. It's not. It's a really, really expensive pain in the neck.
Yeah, not in today's world. It's not the same as it used to be. Cash used to be king. That's just not really how it works anymore. And you ask any dispensary owner, they'll tell you just that.
This is a nuisance. It's a nuisance. Hey, if you're a cannabis company that's preparing to raise capital or an investor looking for an early cannabis investment opportunity, you'll want to tune in to the Raising Cannabis Capital podcast beginning on August 15th as we simulcast the Cannabis Crowdfunding podcast series featuring the top crowdfunding platforms. Tune in on August 15th and learn what it takes to launch a crowdfunding campaign on the Raising Cannabis Capital podcast. Well, I bet you wish we weren't in the middle of the global pandemic, but I have to believe that it's been good for business because everybody is hypersensitive about germs. And we all know that cash carries tons of germs. Are you finding that, the current health concern has been a help for your business?
Absolutely. For us, yes, it's been huge. But if you look at just the basic statistics across the board, contactless payments are up 30%. And out of those people that they surveyed that have started using contactless payments, 70% of them plan to continue. So even when this is all said and done, we've stepped into a new era. Mm-hmm. And kind of being at the front and center of that with CannaCard and with CannaTrac subsidiary CTI, which is basically a merchant processing service outside of cannabis, both companies are right at the forefront. So it's terrible, but I hate to say it. It's been very good for, obviously, a bottom line.
Well, and it's long overdue. It's long overdue. Our world is moving away from cash. You mentioned the payment processing, and we've been speaking mostly about brick and mortar dispensaries, but I know a lot of CBD companies are still having trouble online credit card processing. Mm-hmm. Do you provide that service as well?
Yeah, actually, March 31st, we started CTI processing. It deals in low to high risk, so we can do your restaurants, your car dealerships, anything and everything you possibly could think of. But we also specialize in the higher risk stuff, or what used to be considered high risk industries like CBD, hemp, nutraceuticals. Generally speaking, a lot of those industries carried a very high risk if they could get credit processing at all. And we're able to underwrite those businesses and give them basically custom programs for them through a handful of different companies that we've begun using. And we're literally going gangbusters with that.
I got to believe it's, that's also somewhat COVID inspired because everyone's moving to online purchases right now because a lot of people are still doing everything from home because they don't want to get sick.
Absolutely. I'm doing it myself. I'm like living proof that our philosophy actually works.
I know you didn't plan it this way. I know you didn't have anything to do with the pandemic, but it worked out good for you guys. You're in the right place at the right time. You have the right product for this environment. And again, it's not everything is bad. There's some optimism, and you're a perfect example. And if people are interested in learning more about CannaTrac, we will have all the information in our show notes or at mjbulls.com. And if you want to download the mobile app, you can get it right from the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. So, there's really no reason to be dealing with cash anymore. Just get the CannaCard mobile app and don't worry about cash carrying germs. Tom, thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Dan. I really appreciate it.
Keep it going. Keep us all safe.
Absolutely. Will do.